Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, Global Nerds. We are here today to chat with another episode. We know it's been a minute, but we are back. All of the guys are here. We got Crispy, we got Ty, we got Mark, we got Philip, we got D, your boy, and of course, we got our guests here, all right? Because we got an interview coming on with some new creators coming out. We got Don Trail, creator of
Yes, sir. How
Prism.
y'all doing?
What's going on, brother man?
Doing good, man. How y'all doing?
Feeling good, dude. Glad you could join us today.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
exhausted.
Dude, what is with this week?
Man, I can't even tell you, bro. Slow motion for me.
You know, it's Sunday, so tomorrow's Monday, work week starting. We got one more day to relax.
hmm
But you know what? We got one half of the team here. We got one of them trying to get up in here, but you know, Skype is being pretty difficult for somebody right now. Skype, you gotta get your shit together, man, because you blocking out one half of this team, man. But you know
Get
what?
it together. Get it together. Shout out to Solomar.
Man. So we got one of you, man. So you know what? Let us know about your projects. Let us know who you are. Like, tell us what's up so we could know.
So, I'm Don Trail, man. I'm half of the creative team of Prism. Um, Basically, it's just the idea is that it's a hub of fan fiction works that all align in a sort of Marvel universe type of phase setup. And the idea behind it is that everything Power Rangers, Kamen Rider, Beetleborgs, VR Troopers, anything Sentai or just Tokusatsu related in general is canon in this verse. And what we're doing is yeah, just kind of setting up the universe with this first phase, which starts off with our original Ranger team, which is Power Rangers Fable. That kind of kicks off the universe. But yeah.
Sweet. We heard a whole bunch of Kamen Rider and Beetleborgs, but I didn't hear no Ultraman. What you got against
Oh,
Ultraman, man?
listen. This is why I'm so mad that Solomar's not in here. He got Ultraman, the Kamen Rider Ultraman stuff. He got all of that on lock. He has some stuff planned. Yeah.
Okay, so like we had to break
Yeah,
this up to a part two. Then this is part one.
yeah, yeah. See, like it's funny because I'm just now kind of realizing it, but he really does the different side, like the Kamen Riders and the different side of Tokusatsu. He does those type of projects, and I'm just kind of here doing the Ranger stuff. Like I, that's where my brain is handling a lot of the Ranger stuff. But funny enough, though, he actually laid a lot of the groundwork for Power Rangers Fable, which was pretty dope. Right before he got into Kamen Rider.
Hmm.
Sweet. Y'all got a
Yeah.
question? Because I'm gonna shoot off with Power Rangers Fable. Now, with the name like that, I goes to the video games, the Fable video games. So, what time period is Fable like set in? Is it modern? Is it something that's back in the day?
So the current story, it's definitely modern. It's set modern, but a lot of the lore is definitely back in the day. It has a real Mystic Force kind of vibe to it.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a lot of supernatural wizard type stuff. Just really think if Harry Potter and Hermione and Ron and all of them were like morphing into Power Rangers on top of needing to graduate Hogwarts. That's pretty much what Fable is.
Harry Rangers. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, okay, so going
So
off of
Rangers,
that
let's go, baby.
setting and uh mindset, we'll say, um, would it be going the same route as Harry Potter almost?
So, yes and no, but it's not like there's this one ranger that is, you know, connected to the villain, because it's not like that. But there's definitely, the main setting is the school, which is Dracora. It's a magical academy, I guess, of sorts. It's a university kind of, and they have that in this dimension. It's kind of an unexplained type of dimension, but they go to school in this magical dimension and also have real world issues and problems too. So they're balancing their real world and lives as essentially magi warriors, because during the story they pretty much discover that they're descendants of original Fable warriors, or, you know, original Fable warriors and their allies and whatnot. So the story pretty much stems from a man named Thorin being found by one of our characters, and shit pretty much gets hectic from there. They have all these regular lives, and then all of a sudden they're figuring out, like, wait a minute, weird things are starting to make sense now that, you know, you're saying this, because we got to remember this is a world that aliens exist now. You know what I mean? We cohabitate with aliens. You know, all of this shit exists. You know, magical beings, supernatural beings, you know, demons and all type of stuff. So stuff is weird, but it's like, yeah, things start to make more sense once Thorin is found. Which, yeah, that's the start of the Fable story. Yeah.
Now, is that how it branches into your other stories? Are they all connected, or they are separate from the beta boards to the VR troopers?
So some stories will lead into other stories more than others. You know what I mean? But some will also be more, you know, isolated events, but still have the idea that everything is still connected, but not everything won't necessarily set up each other's storylines. You know what I mean? So you won't necessarily have to watch, let's say, a Common Writer to know what the hell, or not necessarily watch or read, you know, however you go about it, but you won't necessarily have to read or watch Common Writer to watch or read VR Troopers. You know what I mean? But there will be elements like maybe because there's definitely a character in Fable that branches off into Common Writer. So you know what I'm saying? It's just different instances. Yeah.
Hey, he made it.
Olimar, welcome.
Thank you.
Solar Bar.
Yeah.
So the full team is here now. Full team is here.
Yes, sir.
Apparently, Google Chrome on mobile wouldn't allow it. So
That's so weird.
But yeah, so now that we know that they're interconnected and you don't really have to have a background within the source material, you could just hop into you guys' content and start fresh, which is what I like.
Yeah.
None of that subscribe to Disney Plus to know what's going on in Multiverse of Madness stuff, right?
Oh yeah, no, but you know, there would definitely be some moments, like definitely in the later phases. There are a few shows that are really interconnected where it sets up but that won't be like all the time. You know what I mean? For the most part, you can kind of just jump in from anywhere in the phases.
I can imagine, like, you guys clearly want to go big with this, which is amazing. But, like, at the same time, I imagine that you've also been trying to I imagine part of the challenge has been finding the right balance between that and also, like, making sure your audience can still follow what's going on. Like, how's that? What kind of challenge has that been for you guys?
So Lamar, you?
Yeah, I'll chime in here, I guess. I think I kind of went into it with the mindset that I wanted this to be as fluid as possible to any audience member. You know, this is obviously a project that's for fans by fans. So I really wanted the writing or the, you know what I'm saying, the universe itself to just really reflect that mindset.
Yes, sir. Because yeah, like also with that being said, like the idea is also to, like I said, this is also a fan fiction hub too. So if someone's following this, you know what I mean, and they have like a bright idea, you know what I mean, they can write a story and say, hey, what if this was going on while they were doing this? And guess what? Being that we set up this universe how we did, that's now canon. So like pretty much anybody can bring in something to the table from anywhere if they wanted to.
Oh, don't
Essentially,
tempt
we
me.
want
That's
this.
all I say.
We want this essentially to be as interactive as possible. We want this to be more than just a watching experience, or
Something,
immersion.
Got you. Now that's
something
the
that
thing.
anyone who finds it can be a part of. I like that.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
But
Now I have a
definitely
major
I know.
question here that it has to do with the media form because I heard you guys say you can either read it or watch it. So what's your basis for the media that you guys going to have your content out? Is it going to be audio form? Is it going to be just novels, comic book form, or is it going to be something live action that we can watch on like YouTube?
So how we're starting off, we're doing like novels, short stories, screenplays, basically things that you can read. Um, and then we'll also be doing like audiobooks because we have this podcast plan it's kind of like an inverse podcast. So it's like you can read these different stories and also listen to this podcaster that's just like, I don't want to say a fourth dimensional being, but like this person is just like watching these events unfold or like, talking. Yeah, you know what I mean?
They're a
So,
character in a verse, and it's essentially a podcast
yeah.
told from their perspective.
So right now it's going to be a reading journey. And then we definitely hope to one day uh, uh, get
Take
the
this in
animations
animated
and
form, yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? Because the major thing with that is finance, and we don't want to get money from this at all. But we definitely want to figure out a way to raise money ourselves to definitely animate these projects because that is definitely the goal. Even if it's
Gotcha.
just like a glorified animation recap, you know what I'm saying? Just a video. We definitely want to get something out. That's the goal for sure.
Gotcha. I don't hold up the question there. Anybody else got a question?
I don't know. I was just
So
thinking. Oh, sorry, go on.
I already asked the question. You go ahead, man.
I was just thinking about. I know you just said that you weren't gonna kind of like crowdfund it or want money from it, but would you ever kind of consider either taking like donations, or even if you did set up a goal, like if say you say it costs like $10,000, but then say if you got 20,000, either you say okay that's going to be donated to so and so, or that would just go straight back into like the next season or the next project.
See, that's because crowdfunding and stuff, especially when it involves things that you don't own, is kind of tricky. So we never necessarily really thought to go that route or try and gain really anything to make these projects. It was just because I don't want to make it seem like we don't want to make it seem like we're just doing this to get we don't want to get trapped in that bubble like we're just these people that's just wants the money to uh do this. So we want to figure out how to get this out of our own pocket basically. We don't want to take any just to not get grouped in that
Yeah, I mean I'm
you know
guessing
how
like
people can be, you know what I mean?
yeah, because I know there's quite a few like people out there that have taken taken money in and then not delivered or not been able to. I'm guessing like AdSense,
Right.
YouTube revenue, because obviously that comes from YouTube direct, and you're not really like kind of taking it from other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Let's
in
see.
that sense, we wouldn't necessarily be against it, but let's just say our goal isn't to necessarily foster donations. We definitely went into this thinking this is a project that we might essentially have to create all on our own. But like I said, if we can garner that support, then we won't turn it down.
And that's definitely a good point. What series or creators have you um looked at in the past to help create yours?
So you mean like what specific series, or just like inspirations, or?
Inspirations to like a lot of my stuff, my works, have been definitely influenced by like Power Rangers audio drama by Carl, Unworthy by Jordan, Combat in the Grid by DPCX.
Well, I know for sure. Definitely one of the main things when we first went into this about 2 years ago. Our main thing was initially thinking about the reckons of the original timeline. From Mighty Morphin up until what was it, bro? Like RPM or something like that. It started off as a discussion. Just kind of talk about reckons.
No,
And
it was Ninja Storm. What
Ninja up until Ninja Storm, yeah.
Yeah, because we had come across the old hexagon idea. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with that, the original plan for Ninja Storm and what that was going to entail and what that could have meant for the universe at the time. That was something that really sparked our idea to just say, hey, what do we wish? Maybe we should just make our own version.
Yeah. And it came from wanting to make things make sense also that didn't make sense in past things. And so basically we just kind of really just wanted to clean up the timeline and then present that idea that they honestly should have went with in full force.
Sounds like my plan, only I made it way worse. Philip, you got any questions?
No, not really. I'm just enjoying the conversation right now. I haven't really thought of any specific questions to ask just yet.
I have one. Here we go. So I mentioned this before about like obviously you're doing all like Toku stuff, but would you ever consider taking elements from like Masked Rider and Mystic Knights of Tir Nog and then kind of like incorporating it, not maybe using them, but at least going like, oh, well, we've got Irish literature from Mystic Knights or decks from Masked Rider. There's Furbus, the Almighty.
Oh man, I'm so glad you said that. Solomar, go ahead, take that one, man.
All right, I'll definitely talk about Masked Rider because Prismverse is definitely a universe where the connection between Dex and the Mighty Morphin Rangers is a lot more stressed. Dex himself serves as let's say, the predecessor for what Common Riders essentially will be in the Prismverse. And with that being said, Edenoi itself will be a very big staple.
Yes, sir.
So you guys have got a lot of shows coming up. And this is going to be a tough question to answer, so take your time. But like, I mean, of all the shows, Kamen Rider, Beast Force, Kaijin Kaiser, like, is there any show that you guys personally are most hyped for? Any project?
For me, for sure, I'm definitely excited to present VR Troopers. That's that has some of my favorite storylines just in general, even past book one. Like VR Troopers is my bread and butter. I can't wait to present that for sure.
And I guess on my end, Kaijin Kaiser definitely, just because it's an original Toku idea that I came up with, and I really want to put it into motion.
So that one definitely intrigues me because we got a friend that did kaiju collectors a while back, but he had to put it on the very, very back burner, and he's working on Thundercore right now. What's that? Uh, I can speak today. um, elaborate more on that series a bit.
Kaijin Kaiser. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, think think if Devil May Cry, Garo, and Bleach somewhat had a baby.
Oh my.
Okay.
That's
Kaijin
some,
Kaiser is essentially a series where humans and kaijin, essentially monsters or mutants, have been in an, I don't want to say an internal war, but a 1,000-year war for the at the very least. And humanity is on its last legs in this war when someone essentially divulges to them a way to fight back against the kaijin, and that is by creating what they know as holy weapons. And they do this by soaking weapons in the blood of the kaijin that they kill. And this in turn powers up the weapons, which is why they're called holy weapons. But then the focus of Kaijin Kaiser is the blessed blades, which are the most esteemed version of holy weapons. And these are essentially the transformation devices of the series. The characters that use them essentially, it's the equivalent of becoming a pseudo kaijin. They draw on the power of the blade, which, as I just told you, uses kaijin blood, and it in turn gives them pseudo kaijin like powers.
Hmm.
Essentially, like a double trigger from Devil May Cry, which is why I, brought up that aspect.
I
yes,
like.
sir.
Sounds badass.
It does. You guys sound like well, you already let us know this stuff been in development for the past 2 years. So it's been a lot of thought and passion that's gone into the creation process of this in pre-development. When do you guys think that we can possibly see the first product dropped so we can enjoy this type of entertainment?
Um, so I know for sure I'm actually working on the scripts for VR Troopers because I'm going to
Hmm.
release those in screenplays for now, along with different graphical works that I'm doing. Um,
And that's honestly
but
the
that,
general plan for all of the Phase 1 projects so far.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's just
and
some
then
will be, focused on more than others.
yes, sir. And then also we're sort of planning which is it's in early planning stages, development stages, or whatever. But we're working on a sort of a tabletop role playing game based on the Prism universe that we hope to at least have a something about it dropped next year because we plan to go to Power Morphicon and hopefully have a table to present Prism.
Prison, yeah, exactly.
Well,
Sweet.
I could give you some leeway on making your own board game slash RPG. It's a migraine.
Oh yeah,
I'm still working
for
on
sure,
it.
for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, my head started hurting just thinking about it.
Well, it's really cool that you guys are creating your own empire with, different medias. Like you said, an RPG game. Then we have comics from you guys, novel stories, and ultimately live action.
Hmm.
So with the end game and your goal set in place, realistically, what's your time frame where you think you can get through all your phases to get to this point of where you feel like, okay, now I'm successful. I feel like I did my goal. Like, what's the point where you feel like, okay, I did it?
I feel like at that point that would probably be when we drop that first animated project,
Oh, okay.
and we have like a actual like following of people that are looking forward to these things. Honestly, the fact that we're getting the love that we got now, so
It's not
far
really this.
is
Yeah, it's definitely
is
unimaginable.
kind of really the goal in itself.
Right.
Um, so, but the moment where we feel, well, I feel like we'll be like, yeah, we did it, is definitely when we get that animated project
Uh-huh.
made.
Definitely.
Yeah, you guys are definitely making some waves there. But it all starts with building a following. You know what I mean? So where can the hell can all of our friends follow you guys?
So follow us on Twitter for sure at Prism HQ. That's where
Yes,
we'll
sir.
be doing most of our updates and stuff. We have I believe we have the Discord link in the bio. If not, we'll get on that.
Yeah,
But
Okay.
I got it pulled up here.
yeah, we're working on our Discord right now. So if you want to follow it through Discord, you can. But definitely, most of our updates are going to be on the Twitter page for now. While we work on hopefully we get a sort of some type of website type of thing, like a forum, pretty
Hmm.
soon.
Mhm.
Where people can also upload their stories because we want to get started on that. That aspect of the universe too.
Yeah,
But yeah,
eventually.
our
So you guys only
our main
social is
point.
Twitter?
Yeah. For right now, we'll
Okay.
have an Instagram pretty soon, but right now it's just the Twitter. And
Perfect.
once we get the Discord updated a little bit more, we'll
Yeah,
put it in
that'll
the
be posted on the Twitter as
Twitter.
well.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So, I feel like with a lot of fan projects, a lot of what goes into them is the people behind them want to add something to Power Rangers that is just not really there, that could have been there for a long time, but was just never really capitalized on by the creative team. What do you guys hope to add to the greater lore of Power Rangers and just Power Rangers in general with Prism?
So
Yeah. Do you want to answer first, bro? Or
yeah, so the main thing we definitely wanted to emphasize is real stakes. Like this is not just rainbows and sunflowers. Like, yes, we got powers and now we beat the villain. Like, it's not. That's just not what it is. We definitely want to emphasize that real things happen to these people. There are, you know what I mean? So there's going to be deaths, there's going to be tragic things that happen to these people that make them question, is Prism really worth it? Like, our Power Rangers, our Beetleborgs, our Troopers, Common Riders, is all of this really worth it? So that's definitely what we wanted to bring to the table as far as what we felt like Power Rangers missed out on, because there were definitely serious moments, but it's like once you get to the next season, it's like nobody cares that Zordon's dead. Nobody cares that Kendricks died and it came. You know what I mean? Like nobody cared. It seems like nobody, like nothing happened. You know what I mean? So we definitely want to emphasize that these things have a real effect on the world.
and to elaborate on that, not just stakes, but also continuity in general, something that Power
Yes,
Rangers
sir.
has clearly been lacking on for most of its tenure. Um, Continuity, stakes. We want this to feel, like he was just saying, real. We want you to know that these aren't just superheroes in tight costumes. These are real people who go through real things. And sometimes the two aspects of their lives that they would prefer to keep separate sometimes blend. And other people who aren't a part of this life can sometimes become victims of that. I know there's going to be a very big instance of that in Kamen Rider New Recruit. So definitely look out for that. Um, but yeah, those are definitely and aside from continuity as well, I want to add another thing. Inclusiveness. That's something we also want to elaborate on, or show with this universe as well. This isn't just about Power Rangers, like you said. Like we've been saying, we have Common Riders, we have VR Troopers, we have Kaijin Kaiser. Later on, there will be Ultraman. We have Garo. We have this. So this isn't just the Power Rangers universe. It's an all new kind of superhero universe, basically.
Yeah.
I have a
And then
question
another.
then.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because we have all these heroes coming together, right?
Hmm.
Eventually. So what's the big bad? Who's the Thanos of the present universe who have all of these
I'll,
Ultraman, VR troopers, and all these Power Rangers come together?
There's no
okay,
one
so
Thanos. I'll say that.
there's not necessarily just one. There's going to be multiple, especially as far as phase 1 through 3.
Hmm.
But there's definitely an event that ends the first saga of Prism as we know it, and it's going to be used to sort of, like I said, rebirth it and revitalize things going into 4 through 6. So on top of these different Thanos like figures, because there's going to be different, big bads, the ones that are really pulling the strings, but it's going to lead into something that nobody has an answer for. If I can just put it that way, nobody has an answer. Like, you can put all of the greatest minds together in one room in this Prism universe, but this event that's going to end this universe is, well, not in this universe, but you know what I mean. That ends
Yeah.
these first 3 phases is going to be crazy.
What he meant to say was that it nearly ends the universe, as we
Yeah,
know. So
it's
yeah.
Okay. So without getting
something's
into
crazy's
spoiler
planning.
territory, and ruining the big event, one question: is this something that we know from canon material, or is it
Nope.
something completely original to the Prism universe?
Completely original to the Prism universe.
Completely
Gotcha.
original.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. It's, oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy, bro. Like, we honestly worked on this plan or this story alone just like the last couple months.
Nice.
And
Okay.
it's pretty much the moment where everybody everybody comes together for this situation.
And nobody is
Yeah.
safe. Let's just
And
say that.
nobody, when I say nobody is safe, I mean nobody is
Repeat,
safe.
nobody. Nobody is safe.
You think the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you think the legends are gonna come save? No,
Nobody
that's
is
not
safe.
how this event is gonna work.
So this is just gonna be on some straight Avengers Endgame type of level.
Even more
If
cliche.
Endgame took acid for a week straight, yes.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely been something we've been missing in content is stakes. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see this project, read this project, listen to this project, because I like the way that you guys are taking media, different media. So, from my understanding, maybe I'm completely wrong, but it seems like each story will have a different form of media. Like your fables, would that be comic form, and then the VR Trooper would be audio drama, and then the Beetleborgs, would that be completely novelized? Like, is that the take you guys are going with it, or is it just all
Uh,
random?
yeah, yeah, that'll be the take. Like for
Somewhat, yeah.
Fable, I think it's gonna mostly we're gonna write it in short story formats, the different episodes or chapters or however you want to go about it. And
Okay.
then, like I said earlier, for VR Troopers, I'm doing that in screenplay format. So it's kind of like, if you can imagine real good, what I'm saying, if you got a good imagination, you can actually quote unquote watch it. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, it'll be a little bit of both, I guess, random and yeah. We have a few things that are set how we want to release them, but other projects, it'll, like you said.
They're kind of just up in the air, yeah. And how we'll
Okay,
present
sweet.
them.
Are
We
there
definitely have a tipping point to look forward to with Fable. as a launching point for this. Sounds to be a tumultuous roller coaster of storytelling.
Are there any characters you're particularly excited to get out there that you want to tell us about a bit?
For
Probably just
sure.
the main
Or
characters, right? The main characters of each series for the most part.
yeah, yeah. Fable definitely has my favorite characters. For sure are two of the Rangers, Eric and Darnell. Darnell's the leader of the team. He has them two have a pretty interesting storyline. Uh, but yeah, for VR Troopers specifically, the character, the 3-man squad that it starts off with, I sort of did some creative liberties and switched up the names of the original characters. So, for example, the leader of the group is actually Ryan Cranston, which is the son of Billy. Um, the black VR trooper, or the no, he's actually red. It's JB Taylor, which, as you can guess, is Zach's Zach's son. And then uh, the last character, Caitlin Kwan, which, as you can guess, is Trini's son or daughter. Sorry, but and then also that story will have another character that comes in from a past Power Ranger show.
Sweet,
But
multi-dimensional and universal continuity. Because now it's like, okay, the Power Rangers universe, they're sort of folding into the VR Troopers. I can see that. So we're gonna
mhm.
see any more fan favorite children and Beetleborgs and things like that. These is like the Mortal Kombat babies, if y'all know what I mean. Mortal Kombat 10 introduced the Mortal Kombat kids.
Yeah, so that's going to be I don't want to call it like a theme or gimmick, but a lot of our the legends that we grew up with definitely have other family members, if not,
Right.
their kids. There's definitely other family members that obviously that we created that are not in lore, and then some that were in lore that not necessarily were really expanded on. Um, yeah, so there's definitely going to be a lot of family members and stuff like that as far as our new characters go.
Gotcha.
One thing I was kind of having a look at is obviously because you're basing, like, say, VR Troopers on like Metal Heroes. Will you be making your own like extra ones, like redesigning some ones to kind of bring in? Because I know Metal Heroes, there wasn't that many, like, compared to, like, say, Kamen Rider and Sentai. So will you be making your own to kind of like different designs?
So glad that you asked that. The idea behind it is that Ryan sort of just taps into this, dimension, this VR dimension, so to speak. So he'll initially accidentally tap into it, and then when he does that, they'll start off with the classic VR trooper suits, but that'll only last for the, I think, first 2 or 3 episodes. But after that, it'll be sort of a anth- anthology type of take on suits, if that makes sense. So, okay, let me explain it.
Essentially,
What they'll do.
my fault. I don't mean to cut you off, bro. But to
No, you good, bro.
basically give it a better explanation. Think of it like the legend gimmicks that Kamen Rider and Sentai do. That's basically what he's doing, but with VR Trooper, and he's using Power Rangers to do it.
Mm.
Yeah. So post using the first initial VR Trooper suits, they'll end up using VR Trooper-fied versions of suits from past lore. But you'll definitely know it's VR Troopers. You know what I mean? because it'll still have
Yeah.
that VR Trooper A aesthetic or feel. So the designs of the suits will be original, so to speak, but taking elements from whatever that season
Oh, yeah, that's
it's
kind of
based
cool.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like following on that one. Like we know that we have Sentai characters that are kind of fan made. Like so, Abba Ranger had Abba Pink, which was the pig. Then you had in Turbo, you had the Car Ranger, like Car Ranger Princess, and then later on you've got stuff like the Akiba Rangers, which were unofficial. Will you be kind of integrating them or kind of making your own as well to kind of like go along with it?
So VR Troopers actually does have appearances from other Metal Heroes. Like I do have some things planned for like Space Sheriff and those type of characters. So I'm definitely incorporating them, yeah, for sure. But as far as like my own created, special ally or whatever you would call it, I don't have anything specifically planned for VR Troopers because like I said, I want to incorporate the other Metal Heroes like Space Sheriff, Gavin, so on and so forth.
Yeah, because it's kind of cool because I know obviously with like here like superheroes in the Sentai, all basically all Toku universe that aren't actually have it. It's like, hey, I'm going to put a costume on and I'm going to be this version of said character. I'm going to join this team. I don't know if it would be kind of a cool to see something like that because in fan projects, like you always just see the same thing, like here is this team or here is that team, and then you never see the kind of the fun side of someone saying like, oh, I want to be this character, and it's like, oh, okay, you have no powers, but all right.
I guess even though he's not doing that in VR Troopers, I'm doing that in Kamen Rider New Recruit. So I'll take a minute to talk about that, I guess. New Recruit itself is the series where I make callbacks to Masked Rider and Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, but also it's a series that serves to streamline both of those shows so that they're like canon to each other. So in New Recruit, I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with the characters in Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, but Trent Mosley, later on in Kamen Rider New Recruit, he essentially adopts his own hero persona that's completely independent from Kamen Riders, but it is loosely based on Kamen Riders and both Power Rangers since they exist in the universe. So just to talk, dive into your idea a bit, even though it was directed at VR Troopers.
This is like mad ambitious. I mean, like I know we can't really go beyond that far beyond
Exactly. And I
surface
can't
level
really ask certain
details.
questions. So I'm like, okay, we got to do a part 2 for sure.
Right.
But I'm
I
going to chop
wish
and
I could
screw this
answer
up.
that.
Me too. I know. I want to ask some questions, but I know we can't get into that. But this interview is definitely going to be chopped and screwed and edited to where it flows.
Yes, sir.
But once we stop recording, I'm going to ask you a question off camera, off record, just so it won't be recorded. But I'm
Yeah.
going to ask, because there's a lot of shit I want to know.
Yeah. No, if you guys
I just want to
definitely want to
marathon this thing.
yeah, if you guys definitely want to have like a spoiler discussion after this, we can definitely do that.
Good. Then we could do a hard stop because we got all these questions here. So we're going to wrap it up here. Well, thank you guys here from having you guys a part of the show here, giving us a good behind the scenes look and a sneak peek at the upcoming Prism universe from you guys, including different Sentai heroes, Metal Man, and things like that. But we definitely gonna come back with a part 2 because there's a lot of stuff we got to get into in the nitty gritty. But there's some stuff we gotta keep special for you guys out there, a little mysterious. So on that note, we gonna catch you guys in the Prism universe. Peace.
Catch you guys
Peace
later
out.
around the globe.